Lately, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not people can eat a meal for just $3. And let me say clearly that on paper, yes, it can be done. But math is not the same thing as real life. So today, I want to talk about what happens after the spreadsheet. This is not a political video. I am not here to argue with people about their thoughts about this or that. But what I am here to do, as I've always done on my channel, is to help people navigate their real life situation. Real kitchens, real food, real families, real life. This video is brought to you by Aprondiva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. The question isn't really, does a $3 meal exist? The question is, does a $3 meal allow for sustainability for real people, for real lives? Does it support nutrition and an individual's dietary needs? Does it allow for variety? Does it respect preferences? Does it respect culture? And does it respect appetite? And can it be repeated day to day without wearing a person down? That's the real question. When we talk about ultra low-cost meals, we often leave out what those low-cost meals rely on. They're usually pretty heavily relying on starch. There's very limited protein. There's minimal produce. And there's limited food choices, just limited options. And none of this makes the person wrong if this is how they have to eat. But those trade-offs add up over time. Because here's the thing, nutrition isn't just calories. It's protein, it's fiber, it's micronutrients, it's all of that, and it also includes satisfaction. A meal may technically fill your stomach, but you may be feeling tired or hungry again in a short period of time, or you might be discouraged after a few days. And that's not a personal failure. That's the reality of trying to live on a very narrow food budget. And let me say this, not everyone starts with a well-stocked pantry. Not everyone has the space to buy in bulk, to buy extra when things are on sale so they can put them in the freezer. And everyone is not in the same season of life or the same financial circumstances. So everyone is not on the same playing field. And that matters. I've learned over the years that what looks simple in one household can look impossible in another household. And I have tried to keep that in mind over the years. And this is why I talk about storing and saving the right way. Storing and saving is not about hitting a particular dollar amount for a meal, but it's about spreading the cost out over time by having things in your pantry that you can pull on to put together a meal. And it's about giving yourself options so food supports your life and doesn't become another stressor. And this is why me and Miss Leona talk about building your pantry one can, one jar, one box at a time. It's a different mindset. It's a whole shift in thinking. And one of the things that we try to do is to help people get there, to make that shift. It's a very different mindset from trying to think, how cheaply can I eat today? I am not interested in food stunts. I'm not interested in proving what technically can be done. But what I am interested in is helping people to eat well enough, consistently, and with dignity. And that looks different in every household. And that's okay. People don't eat in theory. They eat in real kitchens, with real families, with real food preferences, and with real dietary needs. That's how people eat. My goal has always been to help people think long term about food. Not struggle food, not extremes, and not with shame. So if you're trying to figure out how to feed yourself or your family in a way that is realistic, that's sustainable, and that meets your dietary needs or expectations, you're not alone, and you are welcome here. If you want to learn more about creating a food system that works to support you, check out my video, the 20-item capsule grocery haul. I will link it in the description box below so that it's there if you want it. And I'll see you next time.